Hi there, I'm using Verbalate AI video translation and lip sync software. It's pretty amazing. Watch this.
I can translate my videos into other languages. For example, I am now speaking Hindi. नमस्ते, मैं पहली बार हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ, लेकिन वर्बलिटी इसे इतना आसान बना देता है. Or how about Spanish? Hola, vaya, increíble. También puedo hablar español.
Sign up at verbalate.ai today to gain early access to trial the product for creators and strategic partners, and gain the ability to translate and lip sync videos in all major languages. You can view the info in the description below. Now, onto the video. Hi, it's Lee, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. This Tesla run's still going. Tesla's stock price has now closed at its high for the year. Now, I don't know about you, or whether it's just me, but I feel like the volume is much lower on various aspects right now. One being the macros. It felt like CPI data and the other macro measurements were the be-all and end-all of the market at some stages. It feels the same for deliveries and production, how important it was, and even on a week-by-week basis, of how many new cars are insured in China, or how many vehicles are left in inventory. But it feels like these no longer mean as much either. Personally, I think demand is holding up relatively well, and I'm sure it's likely that this quarter will be another record deliveries. But it's not likely going to be a needle-moving result. Yet Tesla's stock price is up a massive 25% in less than a month. We haven't really had anything new announced or shown, aside from the fact that Tesla will test out some advertising sometime, which we still have heard nothing about since. I think investors are waking up to what Tesla really is again. Tesla got hit hard earlier this year, as there was a big shock to the system. The infinite demand cliche hasn't held, even despite Tesla lowering prices and a tax credit. These hooks didn't do what we'd hoped, or at least what I'd had. Right now, a Tesla Model 3 starts at $40,420 in the US, and if you qualify for the tax credit, then you get a further $7,500 off. But it doesn't stop there. Some states also offer local incentives on top of that. Around 10 states that take the cost of a new Model 3 to under $30,000. And that doesn't include the further gas savings and other associated cost savings of owning a Tesla. In fact, in Vermont, it costs just $26,320. Then another $4,800 in savings for gas, according to Tesla. We're talking about $21,500 for a brand new Tesla in a discounted sense. That is an outstanding car. It's absolutely insane to think that is how much it would cost to own. Then factor in depreciation on top of that. I would have thought that after 5 years of ownership, you'd still get at least that for it again if you sold it. Bear in mind, this car will come with continual upgrades. Hey, in fact, it might even soon come with hardware 4 in it too for that price. And eventually, a good chance it can also drive itself, or possibly earn money as a robotaxi. And okay, the Model Y long range is still $10,000 more than that. But that's because it's the long range. Tesla don't sell the Model Y standard range in the US. If they did, then it would probably only be a few $1,000s more than the Model 3. Canada is importing the made-in-China Model Y rear-wheel drive, and it's $10,000 Canadian less than the long range. Therefore, Tesla could import them to the US too, and sell them for very close to the same price tag as the Model 3 standard range, perhaps US $42,000. Then with the tax credit, under $35,000, then some local state incentives on top of that. These prices are crazy. Why isn't everyone lining up to buy these cars? Is there something about them that we don't understand? Or is it as if we're in some sort of cult and can't see past it? No, the specifications are amazing. The safety is the best, the features, the technology, the convenience. Do you think everyone realizes all the capabilities of these cars? And then do you think they realize they can own these cars for this low a price? This is why Tesla need to advertise. Anyway, when I think we actually see some Tesla ads, the stock will move more. It might even move the stock more than the sales. For example, if the advertising increases sales by 10%, the stock might end up moving 15 or 20%, especially if it means deliveries are catching up to production. The Tesla bulls are listening out for any more positive signs right now, while the stock has momentum. And like I said, there's been very little. So imagine if there actually is some good news or some new event or announcement that suddenly comes, and then another. It feels like it has legs again, potentially with the highest element of risk right now being some major macro event, like a financial crisis. But with macros, no bad news or any major unexpected changes, and if things seem to be coping, despite whoever high rates or CPI are, as long as they aren't on the rise further, then it seems they aren't going to affect the market. And if anything, the market will start looking forward. We may very well see another bull run on the way. Anything can happen in the market. If you study enough charts, you see exactly how unpredictable the market mentality can be. So sure, anything can happen in either direction, but right now Tesla is going in the upwards direction. But I really want to see an event to really give the stock a serious push again, another 5 or perhaps even 10% day. We just had Elon in China, and there are expectations that he would reveal the Model 3 Highland. We're seeing many Model 3s in inventory being discounted by thousands of dollars, perhaps to clear out inventory for the new Model 3 Highland. However, there are also minor discounts for the Model Ys too, and there's a theory that this actually might be to clear out old stock to replace the new Hardware 4 versions. Hardware 4 specs could be announced soon, along with Model 3 Highland. And like I also like to remind people, surely Mexico will break ground sometime soon. Okay, I just want to see some action from Tesla sometime. We really have seen so little when you think about it. I feel like we've been patient, and investors are getting excited again, and the stock price is running in anticipation of something coming. Yet we still haven't seen anything official. It's getting frustrating at the same time. Anyway, we're into the last month of the quarter again already. In just a few weeks, we'll get delivery and production numbers. Most quarters, it really feels like it is the most important or deciding quarter ever. For some reason to me, this quarter feels like possibly the least important quarter ever for these results. There hasn't been much in the way of ramping or reason to expect much more. We know Berlin and Texas are likely cell constrained by 4680 production, so we have a reasonable idea of production. Deliveries seem to be doing alright, at least enough to likely beat Q1, but either way, one way or another, I don't expect any surprises. I'm honestly not sure if it's just me who feels this way, or how investors are in general. Perhaps it's my new mindset on investing, in that it matters more what deliveries and production numbers are like in a few years' time than they are now, and I can see past that, and am more about the long term rather than focusing on every minute detail in the meantime. It makes investing a lot more relaxing, or perhaps it just feels easier because the stock price is up a bit more these days. And then after that, we get some financials, which again, aren't really that important this quarter. We know roughly what they'll be like. It'll be interesting to see how Lathrop megapacks are ramping, but again, no major surprises expected. The earnings call, however, hopefully we'll get some updates as to what is going on there. An announcement as to when Mexico will start, perhaps a 4680 update, some FSD progress or robots. I think a good earnings call will be the next catalyst for the stock price to take it to the next level, depending on whether Tesla launch the Highland or start advertising prior to that. On the current run with those events could see the stock price at 250, I think, and I'm not alone. If we're at 250 by the end of next month, then a good earnings call could perhaps push it to 300, as crazy and as unbelievable as that may sound. I'm only saying these as a possibility and giving reasons as to why. Whether it happens or not, well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. I know earlier this year it would have been really hard to believe Tesla would be back at around 300 halfway through. But look at other tech stocks and growth stocks too. I think the market is turning their head away from the short-term earnings, margins and deliveries and looking more to the future. At least this is the way I feel, but I don't think it's just me. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.